Here, you can be your best. The best train here. Learn here. Succeed here. Perform here. Win here. Thrive here. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Good afternoon and welcome to the ICC Hour here on Super Talk Mississippi 101.9 FM. I'm Adam Gore and I greatly appreciate you all taking time out of your afternoon to join us here for this week's show. Before we jump into the show, I do want to give a special shout out to our good buddy Mr. Jack McFerrin, who listens to the show each week. Hope you're having a great start to your week there, Mr. Jack, and enjoy today's show. Now, speaking of the show, it's made possible by our friends over at Renaissance Bank. You can find out what's next by visiting RenaissanceBank.com.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next? What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
what's next?
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
The start of the school year is just a few weeks away, but it's not too late for you to become the newest member of the ICC family. You've got two options on how you can register for classes this fall. The first, you can visit apply.iccms.edu. That's apply.iccms.edu and register online. The second option would be visiting us on our Fulton or Tupelo campuses to work with someone face-to-face. Now, we have some wonderful people that work in our registration office that are there to help you get signed up and answer any questions you may have along the way. Now, don't forget, financial aid options are still available, and if you're a non-traditional student, meaning you're 23 years or older, be sure and ask about our adult learner scholarship opportunities as well. Also, we'll be teaming up with the awesome folks at Romy's Grocery for our first ever Let's Go ICC Roadshow. The event will start at 7 p.m. and will feature our head coach from our women's and men's soccer programs, volleyball, and football teams. They'll talk about the upcoming seasons and will also take some questions from the audience. Again, that's the Let's Go ICC Roadshow this Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Romy's Grocery in Tupelo. Now, on this week's episode of the ICC Hour, we're going to shine the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi spotlight on the men's soccer program. Last season, the Indians finished the season with 10 wins, 6 losses, and 3 ties overall, and inside conference play, there were 6-2-3. They advanced to the semifinals of the conference and regional tournaments before being eliminated in overtime. In the first half of the show, we'll talk with sophomores Braden Walters of Caledonia, Luke Dearsley, who is from just around the corner in Sydney, Australia, and William Blake from right here in Fulton. We'll get their take on the team, expectations on the season, and find out how they came to love the sport of soccer. In the second half of the show, we'll be joined by head coach Carroll Vogel. He is in his third season here at ICC. He'll get us updated on how things are going in the preseason, talk about his new assistant coach, Andrew Elkins, and then he will also squeeze in a favorite memory or two of former ICC head coach Mike Sullivan, so you most definitely don't want to miss that. All that and more coming your way this afternoon here on the ICC Hour. But before we get to those interviews, we are going to go take a break, hear a few words from our sponsors, including Renaissance Bank and the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi. But we'll also learn more about one of the many programs that we offer at the Belden Center. Back with the ICC Hour right after this.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next? What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
what's next?
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
HVAC stands for Heating, Ventilation, Air Conditioning. It is a trade program that is dealing with home repairs to industrial refrigeration repairs like you'd find in a convenience store to a supermarket. The degree program is 2 years. It is 4 semesters at 15 hours each semester. There's about 15 hours of academic classes that will be needed to be taken for the degree. With a 2-year degree, a person should be able to get a job doing repairs, to being a service tech for a local company, to being a self-employed individual. During the program, we get the EPA certification, which allows people to handle the refrigerant and the charge of systems. There's also NATE certification that are available to students at completion of a 2-year program. An entry-level person can probably experience pay in the neighborhood of about $14.50 to $17 an hour, with raises going up to the points of $22 to $23 an hour. The demand for HVAC technicians has been really well for the last few years. A lot of the technicians are older people that are at retirement age and are leaving the field, so there is a big demand for new, experienced personnel. The curriculum is made up of 12 classes in the HVAC that are 3-hour college credit classes, starting out with levels of someone not having any experience to getting a person to the level of getting a job or becoming self-employed. There's also 15 credit hours of academic classes for the associate's degree that can be done online or in the classroom on the Tupelo or Fulton campus. I like this industry for the reason of being able to go different places every day for a work environment. It's not always at the same location. The other thing I like about this is a field that's easy to start your own business. Nationwide, 1 out of every 7 that finish a 2-year degree end up owning and operating their own business.
The start of the athletic season at Itawamba Community College is just around the corner, and you can be in the center of all the action. Whether it's football, soccer, or volleyball, you can watch every touchdown, goal, and point this fall on letsgoicctv.com. Keep up with all things ICC athletics by following Let's Go ICC on your favorite social media platform and by visiting letsgoicc.com. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next? What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
What's next?
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
And welcome back to the ICC Hour here on Super Talk Mississippi 101.9 FM. We're focusing on our athletics as we're getting fired up to get the start of the season going. We're going to focus on the men's soccer team today. Got a trio of guys with us, and let's introduce yourself, and we'll just move left to right.
Yeah, I'm Braden Walters, a sophomore here.
Where are you from?
I'm from Caledonia, Mississippi.
All right.
I'm Luke Deasley, a sophomore as well.
And where are you from?
From Sydney, Australia.
Okay, I noticed you didn't have that southern accent about you.
Yeah.
So.
William Blake from Fulton.
Okay, so we got a local guy in the house as well. So guys, first off, like I said, this is just casual conversation, so we'll all kind of talk amongst ourselves. Back at it again this season, and Blake, we'll start with you. What's your anticipation going into the year?
I think we're going to be pretty successful this year. I hope to make it to the Final Four as we did last year, and even maybe get farther. So. Yeah, after seeing the bunch of freshmen that come through, I think we've got a fairly strong squad, and I think we'll do quite well this year and hopefully get to that tournament.
There you go.
Yeah, I agree with those two, and I just hope to make it to the national tournament. That's the big goal, and, actually win a game in that tournament. Some just think, make it, but we actually want to win a game in that national tournament, so that's the main goal there.
All right, so right now you're going through preseason training, getting adapted to this heat. So I know for you, it's actually flip-flop season, right? It's
It
supposed
is.
to be cold back home.
Yep.
So just talk about you, one, getting adjusted to it physically, but also mentally. You're used to this time of year being cold.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this time last week I was almost snowboarding back in Australia, and now I'm out here training in 40-degree heat. But it's taken a few sessions to get there, but yeah, we're getting there.
And then, of course, you guys being from here, it's just another August day for you guys. But just talk about just that mentality of attacking that heat and basically helping bring the freshmen on, because it's a big step up from high school to this level.
Well, drinking a lot of water is the first step, and just not overdoing yourself. When you're tired, when you feel dehydrated, just taking a break. And the coaches do a really good job of pushing you, but also understanding that it is very hot out there and very dangerous. So.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I know a lot of boys are feeling their legs right now. When you have 6 sessions in 3 days, 2-hour sessions, it definitely gets heavy on the legs, but then also gets heavy on the mind. It's like, are you going to stay locked in, focus, keep that attention to detail the whole training session just to get as much as you can out of that training session?
Yeah, as I say, and forgive me for the verbiage I use here, go through hell now, because it makes everything easier on down the road.
That's it.
So tell me, take me through a practice. What do you guys normally do? Wake up, before the sun comes? No, I'm kidding. I know Coach ain't gonna make you wake up that early. So just take us through a regular day of practice.
Well, the regular day, the first session starts at about 9:15. Usually everyone arrives there around about 8:45. Got some food in the locker room. A few boys will get a bite to eat. Then we'll head out maybe 5-10 minutes early, start to stretch, warm up, then sort of get into things. Yeah.
And then I guess you say, what's your focus on right now for you to improve your game to be able to build on the success from last year?
So right now, we've done the defensive side of everything, just working on how can we defend as a unit, defending our lines of 4. Now we're focusing on how we can get into our attack. So the coaches do a great job of breaking our sessions up into the individual, what we need to work on as a team there. It's not just all thrown at you at one time. They do a great job of giving you the little bits and pieces. Like it's a pyramid. We're building to get to the top of the pyramid. We're not just shoving it all in your face at one time. So they've done a wonderful job just really briefly and quickly just giving us the little information we need to build up.
And talk about the freshmen. How are you helping the freshmen come along, getting used to this side of practice? Like we said, high school, yeah, it's tough. But, man, I don't think people realize just how big of a jump it is from high school to this level of play.
Well, first off, I'll say all of our freshmen are pretty professional in the way they go about it. They all seem pretty mature, so makes the sophomore jobs a lot easier. But yeah, they're getting used to it, and they're getting used to the heat, the training, and focusing their professional life around soccer. And so I think they come along pretty quick.
That's one of my favorite things about soccer. Of course, I didn't grow up with soccer, didn't play soccer or anything, but it's the professional mentality that you take with the game. It's, most people say, oh, we're just playing a game, but that's the mindset across the board, is that professionalism. Why is that?
Just, if you come in with a professional attitude, you're setting a standard for yourself. So you're arriving to the locker room before training starts, you're getting your stuff on, you're getting stretched out, you're getting warmed up. And, if you just keep that standard, that professional standard, then during the training session, you have a good training session, you have that attention to detail. And if you just keep that throughout your time playing soccer, you'll just improve every single day. And then you can also a professional attitude will also just help you in life when you have to get a job, in the future. So
Absolutely. Biggest difference in American football versus Australian football?
Biggest difference for me is in America here, athleticism is used a lot more. Compared to back home, it's more technical. So here, most of the boys are a lot bigger, stronger, faster. But back home, we're a lot smaller, more technical, and we let the ball do the work. But here, it's a lot more direct. If that makes sense, yeah.
So how are you? What are you doing to work? I guess you changed your game to the American style.
Well, last year was difficult adjusting, but I did get there, and I also try to bring parts of the Australian game across here and, try to promote that and help the other boys with that, yeah.
Yep. So the international flair, talk about how that kind of just and you both can talk about this, but how does that help improve y'all's game? Because obviously they're bringing knowledge that we may not have here in the States of their style of play. So have you been able to incorporate some of that in your learning?
Oh, well, yeah. You know, and not only that, they're all from different countries who play different styles of soccer in their own right. So, you know, you're learning more than just one different way to go about soccer. We learn, you know, what Luke might have learned in Australia, or what some of our internationals learned from England and Denmark, and we've gotten all these and we're putting it together to make us better.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next? What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
What's next?
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
The start of the athletic season at Itawamba Community College is just around the corner, and you can be in the center of all the action. Whether it's football, soccer, or volleyball, you can watch every touchdown, goal, and point this fall on Let'sGoICCTV.com. Keep up with all things ICC athletics by following Let's Go ICC on your favorite social media platform and by visiting Let'sGoICC.com. Of course, there's no better experience than supporting your favorite ICC athlete in person. So make your plans to join the rest of the ICC family in Fulton this season. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
We'll be teaming up with the awesome folks at Romy's Grocery for our first ever Let's Go ICC Roadshow. The event will start at 7 p.m. and will feature our head coach from our women's and men's soccer programs, volleyball, and football teams. They'll talk about the upcoming seasons and will also take some questions from the audience. Again, that's the Let's Go ICC Roadshow this Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Romy's Grocery in Tupelo.
Here, you can be your best. The best train here. Learn here. Succeed here. Perform here. Win here. Thrive here. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
We're focusing on the men's soccer team here at ICC on the ICC Hour. Appreciate everyone that's tuning in here, guys. Why soccer? Of course, I know football is king here in the South, but what made you interested in soccer, and when did you start playing it?
There's so many sports you can get into at a young age growing up, but I guess what my parents put me in, they put me in soccer, soccer. I had the opportunity to travel overseas and actually live in the Netherlands for a few years, and that's really awesome. Where I developed the love and passion for the game. So I guess that helped me a lot, but if you have a passion for something, you're going to continue doing it, and you're going to strive to get better at it every day. So I think that's why soccer, that's why I chose the sport.
Well, for me, soccer is one of the only sports the only sport in America that there is no stoppage, right? You don't switch on and off every play or between every pitch in baseball. I mean, soccer, you're going for 45 minutes, and at all times you got to be thinking of the next step, and then you get one break and another 45 minutes. So for me, it's very mentally active, and that's why I love it so much.
What got you started in soccer?
Well, for me, I got put into soccer at quite a young age, so that's sort of all I've known. I've come across a lot of sports like rugby league, which is big back home. I surf as well, but for me, I've always been good at soccer and enjoyed it, so I've always stuck with it.
Yeah, the waterway don't offer very much surfing options.
Yeah,
out here, so.
Not at all.
Well, guys, appreciate your time. Before I let you go, real quick, kind of let everybody give a shout out. Let you give a shout out to family back home. But why should people come watch you guys play this year?
Yeah, I think we're going to have an elite squad. I think it's going to be really entertaining. And, you know, soccer in the South is growing. It's fun to watch. Even if you don't understand it, you'll see the boys out there giving their all, giving their passion. And I think it's just fun to watch us play, you know. We have a little bit of flair to ourselves, and it's just something different, you know. It never stops, so you're always going to be able to watch something.
Yeah, and it's a very high pace. That's one thing I really like about it as well. Same question to you. Why should they come watch you guys this year?
Well, we have a squad that's trying to give effort 110%, and I think that's very entertaining to watch when you have a team that cares, that has a lot of passion. And again, I think we're going to be pretty good this year, and we're going to win some games. We're going to have some big matches against some good conference opponents, and it should be some pretty good physical, high-intensity games.
Luke, same to you, but also when you're done, I'll let you give a shout-out to those that might be listening back home.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, with the squad we got, I think we'll be able to put on a show, win a lot of matches, and hopefully get that record looking good. Yeah, I'd like to shout out my family back home, back in Sydney, Australia. Yeah.
So this is going to be just a loaded question. Biggest difference in Sydney, Australia, and Fulton, Mississippi?
Biggest difference? Definitely not having the ocean right next to me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so, it's a 6-hour drive or something to the closest beach. Yeah.
Yeah, and we call it a beach.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, they got a little bit of sand out there on the waterway.
That's
so
it.
You might be able to find that. Well, guys, this has been a great interview. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day. I know y'all hate to get out of this heat to come do an interview. So, real quick, you guys want to give any shout-outs to anybody?
Yeah, shout-out to my parents, definitely.
Okay.
Shout-out to my parents and family.
Didn't mean to cut you off. You had somebody else. No shout-outs for Coach.
Yeah, shout out to Vogel, Coach Vogel, and Coach Andy.
Shout out to Coach Andy.
Okay.
Sure.
Maybe not Vogel as much, yeah.
Well, speaking of Coach Vogel, we'll have him up next here on the ICC Hour. Back with more right after this. We'll be teaming up with the awesome folks at Romy's Grocery for our first ever Let's Go ICC Roadshow. The event will start at 7 p.m. and will feature our head coach from our women's and men's soccer programs, volleyball, and football teams. They'll talk about the upcoming seasons and will also take some questions from the audience. Again, that's the Let's Go ICC Roadshow this Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Romy's Grocery in Tupelo.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next? What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
what's next?
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
When my mom opened the store, I got comfortable with it, and I liked the fact I like to help people, and I like to make people feel good about what they wear or just in general. And so once we got started and got into it, it was just one of those things where I just kind of really fell in love with it.
This is a 2-year all-online Associate of Applied Science degree. There are no restrictions or requirements to begin working toward a Business and Marketing Management Technology degree.
I think just being here and being able to experience what all there is within business and marketing, it was just something I thought I would really enjoy, which I started the first semester I was in class, and which I loved Miss McCrimmon. She was awesome. She was very helpful.
Students simply apply to ICC and then select Business and Marketing Management Technology as their major.
I enjoy online, and it was not anything that anybody couldn't do. It works with your schedule, and it was easy for me to do online working here as well. So that was really helpful to me.
This degree covers a wide range of business jobs. It's also a great way for entrepreneurs to learn about starting their own business.
There are times when you will catch yourself applying what you did learn in the program, using it within whatever business you're in.
Many students in this program are working and are interested in earning a degree to be promoted where they work. I've also had graduates start their own businesses.
There's just something about when somebody comes in and they want to find something and you're able to help them with that and they find the perfect outfit or whatever they're needing. It's just one of those things where it makes you feel good and it makes the customer feel good.
Students can start the MMT program in the fall or spring semesters.
But overall, it's a fun job, and you get to learn a lot. And if you love shopping, that's a big plus too. Customer service is huge, and we want to make sure that we are able to fit that person's needs and do the best we can to help them.
MMT graduates also have the option to transfer their associate degree and continue working toward their bachelor degree online.
The start of the athletic season at Itawamba Community College is just around the corner, and you can be in the center of all the action. Whether it's football, soccer, or volleyball, you can watch every touchdown, goal, and point this fall on letsgoicctv.com. Keep up with all things ICC athletics by following Let's Go ICC on your favorite social media platform and by visiting letsgoicc.com. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next? What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
what's next?
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
And welcome back to the ICC Hour here on Super Talk Mississippi 101.9 FM. As always, the ICC Hour being brought to you by our friends over at Renaissance Bank. Find out what's next by visiting renaissancebank.com. Well, we just heard from a trio of players. Now we're going to head it over to the head coach now, and Coach Vogel. And Coach, I'm going to tell you this. If the guys play as good as they were on the radio, we're going to have an outstanding year this year. I'll tell you what, that was a good crew.
They're a well-spoken group.
Well, Coach, I know this time of year, it takes forever to get here, but once it's here, man, it just flies by. Talk about where you guys are at now in training and getting ready for the start of the preseason.
Yeah, so the boys moved in on July 31st. So we started with fitness testing on the 1st of August. So we're currently in Day 6 of our preseason, which is a bit elongated for this year. We actually go until the school starting on the 19th, but we've got a couple of preseason matches sprinkled in. But yeah, we're laying the groundwork, laying the framework to kind of reteach the sophomore group and teach the freshmen so that we're all on a level playing field. That way we're able to build on that foundation as we go through the season.
Let's expand on that a little bit more. A lot of things that people don't realize. You've only got these guys 2 years, maybe 3 if you get a redshirt year with one of them. Challenges as a coach to just get that group of individuals, all unique personalities coming from different programs, to lock in and be ready to play your style of soccer.
And I think that's recruiting is the biggest part of it. We have the chance to speak with these kids, whether they're from Mississippi, from another country. I mean, it's multiple phone calls, it's multiple conversations, either visits in person or visit via Zoom. And it's really making sure that the vibe that they get, the vibe that we get match one another. We always talk about it, recruiting, finding the best fit. And I think that we've done that. And that really helps us be proactive in that approach of getting them all on the same page. And then once they get here, it is a mixture of finding what are the strengths of our players, what are the non-negotiables of the way we want to play, and then marrying those two things together so that we can highlight the strengths of our players in the way that we play, but also there's going to be some things that we're going to require no matter what in our style of play as well. So it's just a big blending of personalities that are with like-minded goals, like from us as a coaching staff all the way to our players, and then obviously us empowering our players to play in a way that best suits them and best suits our program.
And, of course, another interesting wrinkle this year, new assistant coach, Coach Elkins. So he actually got to come in a little bit before the guys, so he's, adapted to it. But now he's getting in the mix here with it. Just talk about your new assistant.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job. So he hired in late June, I think. He's come in and he's hit the ground running. So he brings an invaluable experience with the level that he's played at, the standard that he's played at. And so just relaying that information to the guys and holding them accountable, bringing in new, fresh ideas. Luckily and fortunate enough to work with Coach Lashley for the last few years, and now with Coach Elkins. Just can't say that. I mean, truly blessed as a coach here with the help that I've had, and they're a tremendous part of the success we've had, and Coach Elkins with a tremendous part of the success we'll have this season.
Yeah, whenever you brought him in, I got his bio information for the website. I was like, he's more qualified for my job than I am. But he does have a very rich background, and having that other side of things, you know, that I guess say SID mentality, as long as assistant coach, that's really going to be bonus, I guess you can say, because he's going to be able to be like, okay, coach, I know what he's asking, I know what he's needing, let me handle it. You know, so just talk about that aspect as well as a head coach. Yeah,
I mean, he's done SID work. He was a graduate assistant at AUM. He's been an assistant at the NCAA level on the women's side. So the wealth of experience he has will help us, obviously me as well, selfishly, you know, on the field, but also off the field, with a lot of the duties that our jobs entail that a lot of people don't see. You know, they see the product on the field and they think that's 97% of what we do. In reality, it's almost 3% because most of what we do as coaches goes on behind the scenes. So he's been a fantastic help in those regards as well.
Let's talk about you for a moment. Just give everybody your background, where you came from, started, and eventually got here to ICC.
I haven't traveled a long distance, so grew up playing in Pontotoc, played club in Tupelo, actually played here, followed my brother. He was here in 2006. I came here in 2008, played for the great Coach Sullivan, and then suffered a couple of injuries while I was here. Compound that with the fact I wasn't great to start with, and my career was over. So I went into education at Mississippi State, graduated with an undergrad, and then I was at New Albany High School, and now I'm getting so old I forget time. Maybe 11 years? Yeah, 2012 to 2021, so maybe 9 years. I'm not sure. Started the men's program at Blue Mountain College in 2021, and then I'm now going into my third season here. So excited about this third year. This is the first time to coach a group of guys that we've brought in for every recruiting visit. So it's a lot of pressure as well. You know, this is the first group that I would call as mine, even though the groups that we've had in the past years have been fantastic. But so it's an interesting year. So for everybody that heard him, he said the Coach Sully, Mike Sullivan. If you knew Sully, you love the guy. It don't matter. But best Sully story you can tell on the radio. The key part of that being the one you can tell on the radio. There's a lot of great Sully stories. I tried. Oh man, on the radio. So that's the problem. Here's a good one. And I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying this one. So we used to do team camp, but instead of doing team camp, it was individual kids camp. And we were having to go through the awards and figure out who was going to get what award for camp. And, you know, it's really important to the kids. Well, every morning we would wake up and Coach Sullivan would be blaring music for the 8 to 12-year-olds to wake up to. Well, he also had a microphone he could make announcements on. And we went into the lobby to have our conversations about this kid or that kid, who should have this award, that award. Well, Coach Sullivan forgot to turn the microphone off. So all the campers are outside, and you just hear the door knocking, and it's one of the camp counselors. He just runs in, opens his door, and just yells, hot mic, hot mic. And Coach Sullivan's face is just like, oh, no. But nothing bad was said, I thought that was one of the more embarrassing stories of him. Yes, that's a total Sully moment. Yep, and of course, Sully and I have a love for bad movies. Yep. And so I remember whenever he was coaching the women and men at the same time, I would have some of the girls come by my office and be like, whatever you do not give Sully another one of those movies that we have to watch. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm sitting with all the Sharknadoes on the way down there. So. Exactly.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next? What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
what's next?
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
The start of the athletic season at Itawamba Community College is just around the corner, and you can be in the center of all the action. Whether it's football, soccer, or volleyball, you can watch every touchdown, goal, and point this fall on letsgoicctv.com. Keep up with all things ICC athletics by following Let's Go ICC on your favorite social media platform and by visiting letsgoicc.com. Of course, there's no better experience than supporting your favorite ICC athlete in person. So make your plans to join the rest of the ICC family in Fulton this season. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
Here, you can be your best. The best train here. Learn here. Succeed here. Perform here. Win here. Thrive here. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
We'll be teaming up with the awesome folks at Romy's Grocery for our first ever Let's Go ICC Roadshow. The event will start at 7 p.m. and will feature our head coach from our women's and men's soccer programs, volleyball, and football teams. They'll talk about the upcoming seasons and will also take some questions from the audience. Again, that's the Let's Go ICC Roadshow this Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Romy's Grocery in Tupelo. Well, Coach, what's your expectations for the season?
I mean, obviously for us, our expectation is always to win. And what that entails, I mean, we're a process-oriented group rather than results-based, but if we take care of the process, we do. Championships aren't built a week before the state championship or the conference championship. Those championship teams are built right now in the preseason, and they were built last year in the recruiting cycle, and where the freshmen have come from now as sophomores. But our expectations are high. We talked about it with the boys before the season. We're setting our expectations for winning a game in the national tournament. And a lot of people might think, wow, that's really crazy to set that as your goal, considering our men's program hasn't made the national tournament before. So how do you set your goal to win a game there when you haven't even made it before? But to be honest with you, the higher you set your expectations and the higher you set your goals, the more chance you have to reach those or reach closer to those standards. We play in an extremely competitive conference, so we're not saying this because we have a large ego. We're not saying this because we're uber confident that we're going to outplay every team every match, but that's the expectations we have of our players and of our coaching staff. And what other way than to go into work every day and to go on the field every day with that as your expectation and see where it can take you. You don't set your expectations low at the beginning of the season and hope you exceed them. You set them as high as you can possibly go and then hope you can reach somewhere in that realm.
Well, Coach, as we said, just talked to the guys in the previous part of the interview. Very professional mindset and they kind of expanded on that, and I want you to kind of expand on that as well. Well, it's one of my favorite things about soccer as I've come in to learn more and more about the game is, football, you don't have that, just the, I hate to say coat and tie mentality, but that's what it feels like. It feels like just a very professional, job-like mentality that the guys are coming in with. And I love how they expanded on, yes, if we do this, it prepares us for that. But not only that, it's going to prepare us for life on down the road. Mm-hmm.
And soccer is a unique sport, too, because if you think of baseball, football, basketball, America's #1 in that sport across the world. And soccer, we're a bit different, or football if you're from another country, right? But those kids in those countries grow up, and where our kids here play recreational for fun soccer, those kids are playing for a contract at 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. So if you look at it from outside the States, those kids play business soccer from a very young age. And that kind of mindset is migrated into the States, and the way our youth soccer here is changing a little bit as well, creates that business mindset. And then if you watch the game across the country, these leagues are just so professional in the way they're run, and it's almost just mirroring what we've seen from the other leagues in the other countries and also the culture around the game. It's from a young age, it's ingrained into you. It's a job. And there's negatives to it as well, obviously. But yeah, it's not just for fun. The fun comes with doing a great job.
Right. What would you say would be the biggest change in the sport that you've seen since you played to now you're coaching? That's kind of a tough question that I pulled out of the air on you. But or where would the biggest growth have happened?
Man, it's crazy to think. Obviously, there's more involvement, there's more engagement. So the number of kids that are playing the game, and then the number of young kids from club all the way to high school and college, it's the level. Like, there's not as big of a gap, I would say. I mean, if you look at it from just, let's say, TFC, the Tupelo club, I know on the women's side they had a team win the National President's Cup this year.
Nice.
You know, and so youth soccer is growing through the club and through the high school. And the other thing is, I'll say this too, the coaching. You look at the coaching, and I'm not knocking the coaches that were coaching high school soccer 25 years ago when I'm not that old, but
I am though.
Yeah, but you have players that you have parents that used to be players. You have coaches that used to play the game. So that love is being transferred from coaches who played it or from parents who played it down to their children. And that's just going to continue to happen as it just cycles through generations and generations. But yeah, just the overall level, the engagement, the number of people playing, and the people that are educated and sharing their education with the next generation of soccer players.
So there's a parent or maybe a potential student athlete listening right now. What would be their best way, or what would be your advice for them to be seen to know that? I know obviously we have the questionnaires and things like that, but for them to be seen by ICC or maybe another program out there, what's as a coach, what would you suggest?
There's multiple ways to go about it. You know, obviously we talk about video and highlight videos, but if you play for a team like your high school, your club that doesn't have video, then you want to put yourself in front of those coaches or our staff. So whether that's an email letting us know when you're playing in a tournament or when your high school schedule is, or if we host an event. Like I know most programs like ourselves host ID camps. Unfortunately, ours was rained out right before the start of August, but those are other great avenues to put yourself in front of coaches. And also don't get discouraged if you don't get an offer right from the start, or if things aren't kind of going your way. And you have to be patient with the process, and you have to be diligent in putting yourself out there. And ultimately, the best fit will present itself, and take that when it's available for you.
Well, Coach, I asked the guys, I'll ask you the same question. Why should people come watch ICC soccer this year?
I'll kind of piggyback off what they said, and I do agree. They're a group of boys that enjoy working hard. They're a group of guys who are going to have each other's backs no matter what. And they're a group that's going to turn their screw on the opposition. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be high tempo. It's going to be high pressing. And it's just enjoyable to watch. And so we hope that our passion can rub off on the fans. But to be honest with you, too, I would love nothing more than to have a great fan base here to help us push our guys. So whether you're coming for your own enjoyment or if you just want to come out of pride for the school or pride for the sport, pride for this community, and help push our guys across the finish line, we would greatly appreciate that.
You can find that schedule on letsgoicc.com. You got the men's schedule and the women's schedule. It's going to be here before we know it, Coach. So real quick, gave the guys an opportunity to give a shout-out. I'm going to put the pressure on you so you'll forget somebody. Any shout-outs you want to give?
I'll go wife number one. I'll go mom number two, and Coach Sullivan number three. When I got hired here, my wife went last, and she thought that we're going to get through the entire video without me bringing her up. So I go her first this time.
There you go. There you go. That couch must not be too comfortable.
Exactly.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. I know you guys are getting ready to hit that second, third leg of practice. Looking forward to the season. If you can't make it out, we will stream regular season games on letsgoicctv.com. That's letsgoicctv.com. Follow us on your favorite social media platform at Let's Go ICC. We'll have highlights, photos, tons of stuff coming your way there as well. Coach, any final thoughts before we let you go?
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you, Coach Vogel. We'll be back with more of the ICC Hour right after this.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next? What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
what's next?
Renaissance Bank. understanding you.
The start of the athletic season at Itawamba Community College is just around the corner, and you can be in the center of all the action. Whether it's football, soccer, or volleyball, you can watch every touchdown, goal, and point this fall on letsgoicctv.com. Keep up with all things ICC athletics by following Let's Go ICC on your favorite social media platform and by visiting letsgoicc.com. Of course, there's no better experience than supporting your favorite ICC athlete in person. So make your plans to join the rest of the ICC family in Fulton this season. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
Electrical technology is, here at ICC, is a program where we take students in and teach them from the fundamentals of what electricity is all the way to very advanced concept. It takes 2 years, it's 4 semesters, and you would always have to start in the fall because the courses are taught fall and spring. So in other words, the courses that are offered in the fall are not offered again in the spring, so you have to start in the fall, and it takes 2 years. There is a huge demand right now for electrical technicians in the workplace. As we all know, manufacturing has gotten very automated and very technical, and we meet that need with our program here. So our students they're definitely going to have opportunities once they graduate, even opportunities while they're going to school here through the internship program that we have. Most of our students on the internship program are in that $14 to $16 range, and then once they graduate, and most industries does a pre-employment exam, and then they test to see where those students will fit into their pay scale. I would say that most of them fall in that $18 to $22 an hour after graduation. So it's a really, really hands-on program. So that's another thing that students need to be aware of. If you enjoy working with your hands and the physical aspect of using tools and doing a job, then this curriculum would be something that you need to look at. There is a good bit of programming, but you're not just going to be a programmer. You know, you're going to be a multi-skilled electrical technician, which means that you'll do all of the skill sets, not just programming. Electrical technicians in manufacturing, the number per manufacturing facility is going up because the technology used in all of manufacturing is going up exponentially. I mean, we just get more and more automated and autonomous in our manufacturing processes, which means that we have to have a really skilled person to maintain those processes and keep them functioning. So the maintenance technicians today are all, by and large, have a huge electrical background to be able to do what they do with the automated processes that we manufacture today. And it doesn't matter what you're manufacturing, whether you're building cars or tires or body parts, or, you know, it doesn't matter. All manufacturing processes are automated at a really high level today and continuing to grow in that area.
We'll be teaming up with the awesome folks at Romy's Grocery for our first ever Let's Go ICC Roadshow. The event will start at 7 p.m. and will feature our head coach from our women's and men's soccer programs, volleyball, and football teams. They'll talk about the upcoming seasons and will also take some questions from the audience. Again, that's the Let's Go ICC Roadshow this Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Romy's Grocery in Tupelo.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
Here, you can be your best. The best train here. Learn here. Succeed here. Perform here. Win here. Thrive here. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
The Indians opened the season with 3 friendlies, that's also known as scrimmages. The first was on the road this past Saturday at Blue Mountain Christian, where the Indians picked up a 2-1 win. Then tonight they're at Freed-Hardeman, and then next Tuesday they'll travel to East Central to wrap up their final preseason warm-ups. Then they'll open the regular season by hosting Meridian in a non-conference match on Friday, August the 23rd. The first of 3 matches in August. However, the Meridian match will be the long home match of the month. Now, I do encourage you to visit letsgoicc.com. Again, that's letsgoicc.com to see the Indians' complete schedule, and also follow Let's Go ICC on your favorite social media platform to get updates during the matches and tons more. Now, if you can't make it to Fulton to support the Indians in person, you can watch select matches on letsgoicctv.com. That's letsgoicctv.com. Now, that's going to do it for this week's show. I'd like to thank our guests, Braden Walters, Luke Deersley, William Blake, and Coach Carol Vogel of the men's soccer team for taking time out of their preseason training to join us for this afternoon. We'll continue our look at fall sports over the next few weeks with the women's soccer team and the volleyball team as well. I also, once again, want to thank all of you for tuning in each Tuesday here for the ICC Hour, including Mr. Jack McFerrin. He is tasked with having to keep up with Mr. Jim Ingram and keep him out of trouble. And if you know Mr. Jim, you know that is not an easy task. Now, before I let you go, I do want to remind you one more time that we'll be teaming up with the awesome folks out at Romy's Groceries for our first ever Let's Go ICC Roadshow. The event will start at 7 p.m. out on the patio at Romy's, and we will feature our head coaches for the women's and men's soccer team, volleyball, and football programs. They'll talk about their upcoming seasons, and we'll also take some questions from the crowd as well. That's this Thursday night, 7 p.m., the Let's Go ICC Roadshow on the patio at Romy's Grocery in Tupelo. Have a blessed week, and as always, Roll Tribe.
The start of the athletic season at Itawamba Community College is just around the corner, and you can be in the center of all the action. Keep up with all things ICC athletics by visiting letsgoicc.com. Itawamba Community College, the best start here.
I've gotten several degrees in other subjects, and I've been working restaurants most of my life, so it kind of just fell into place to where let's get more experience, more information, more training, so I can take over like a restaurant and manage. I've worked all around the state, out of state. I first started up in Memphis, worked around Virginia, moved down to Mississippi, and then just been working restaurants most of my life. You can work your way from the ground up, but there's also more things involved in that where you just need that extra level of training, and that's when I decided to go back to ICC and get my degree there again. It just kind of fell into place to where I found out that they were doing a hospitality program, and I decided to apply. The online program, I was able to basically go to school around my work schedule, so it's not like I'm having to take off from work, and I could get all my work done ahead of time and have everything turned in on specific days, so I'm not having to play catch up anywhere or miss work. Just that right amount of time to where you get in, you get some training, you get some learning, and possibly some certifications under your belt. And then when you get out into the market, it might help you find a better place to start working on your career. Everything that I learned in the program is relevant to what I'm doing on currently. I mean, everything from like food cost, human resources management, dealing with customer relations, guest relations, social media marketing, things like that. It's all very, very relevant nowadays. I was able to get my ServSafe certification, which is important for managers. The best advice is just to go in with an open mind and a good attitude, and you'll probably succeed.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next? What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
What's next?
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.